It's your boy Calix Boxing here. Hit that sub button for nightly boxing videos, and thanks to all the new subscribers out there. Appreciate the love. 25 new subscribers last week, so shout out to y'all, and I hope that we can continue to talk boxing, and I'll continue to entertain, hopefully. And we got a new podcast tonight. Podcast is volume number 4. Got the new, not new, but I'm back to the older microphone because I was watching some of the videos, and the newer microphone was coming up a little low, and I couldn't adjust the volumes and whatnot. So hopefully this is working right now because I didn't even test it before. Looking like Bobby Brown in the My Prerogative video right now with the headset and whatnot, and the microphone coming out of my ear, but it is what it is. We're going to get right into this thing. Sorry, I had to check the sound right there real quick. But going to get into this thing, and shout out to this. I see a couple viewers already on here, and I still don't know how to work this freaking chat. I would love if I get this chat working and respond to comments and talk to y'all as the show is going on. So hopefully by sometime this week, I can get this up and running, and maybe I could talk to some of these guys who also do this Google Hangout, and we can get that done. So we shall see. But I want to get into the comment section to start off. I'm going to respond to all the comments over the weekend. There were a ton of them, and I was reading over some. Most of them we'll discover here together because I didn't read all of them, but got into some of them. There's a lot of stuff in the news today. I'm just going to touch on a couple of them tonight. Didn't do show prep for this. Going to freestyle it all. So that makes it even more fun. But let's get into the comments. Top Cat 89 in response to Andre Ward versus Sergey Kovalev. I was talking last week about the fight not being signed yet, and it is signed. So props to those fighters, and we'll get a good fight in November, hopefully. But Top Cat 89 said, "Damn if Sean here. I know this a GGG fanboy page. The fight is done. You dude just lie on Ward, then when Black call you a racist, you dude are mad. I never seen you dude show Black fighter love." We're already started. The show's already starting off on a bad foot. No, if you watch my channel, especially over the years, you know that's not true. That's just not true. And by the way, I was the biggest supporter of Andre Ward up until 2013 when he started with all this bullcrap. Now, this is a good penance for him fighting Kovalev, and in the Calix household, he's getting back into good standing. This is a good start by fighting Kovalev off after all the tune-ups and the layoffs and whatnot. But dude, I don't have an allegiance to any fighter. I just want to see good fights, and the only reason I'll have an allegiance to a certain fighter is if he consistently gives me good fights, if he consistently tests himself. So once a fighter stops doing that, I'm done. And then when they start fighting good guys again, then okay, I'll be back on the bandwagon. But this notion that anybody who criticizes Andre Ward is a racist and what, dude, they just show when you throw that stuff out. How many times have I given props to Sean Porter for fighting everybody, and Terrence Crawford for being the next up-and-coming guy, Errol Spence Jr. I mean, why, dude? I shouldn't even have to defend this, but listen. You guys need to stop with this, all right? It just shows that you can't compete in the arena of ideas. If any time anybody disagrees with you, you just throw out all this off the bat. This is the first comment. Racist, bigoted. Just because I say that I think Kovalev is going to beat Ward, or Ward's been fighting tune-ups. Come on. And the fact that I would show love to a Russian over an American, anybody who knows me personally knows over anything. Over anything. I care less about race. Over anything, I'm nationalistic over anything. I'll take my country over all this race bull crap. So for me to show love to a Russian over an American, that shows you that this American hasn't been living up to par. Get over yourself. I swear after November 19, he writes again, 4 straight comments here. I'll be back because I want hear what you got show after Dre, but him. LOL. You dude are wishing, praying Ward pull out. LOL. I'm not wishing and praying Ward pulls out. I want Ward to fight Kovalev. I want Ward to fight the best. That's the whole point of what I'm saying. And who the F did hear what Carl has to say? He's responding to Carl Frosch now. LOL, Ward has come November 19, and this white boy racist will be over soon. Here we go again. Black hate, but we love Lomo, right? I'm not a fan of Lomo. I'm not a fan of Lomachenko. All right. He's a great fighter. All right, or he's becoming a great fighter, but I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of Lomachenko. I mean, where did he see that I'm a fan of Lomachenko? We love Tyson Fury. I like Tyson Fury. I'm a big Conor fan, but you white MF. Okay. I'm not a Conor fan. Dude, I don't even follow UFC. Where is this coming from? All right, let's get into hopefully some more sane ones. NMR 2067. I saw an interview today from Porter where he says he would have no problem fighting Errol Spence. That's good. That's good. And I think this is a response to in the podcast where I said that Sean Porter felt like he was above an Errol Spence fight. He is above Errol Spence at this point in the rankings, and he's fought more guys, so I have him higher. But he's not an above an Errol Spence fight. It was my whole point, and I think that's what he's responding to here, because Sean Porter later came out apparently and said he would fight Errol Spence if it came to that. And I think I saw that same thing on the PBC Saturday night. No one else with a big name at 147 will say this, and I agree. I can't really watch Carcino's videos on Floyd anymore and take him seriously either. LOL. He's a cool guy, which he is. Carcino's a great guy for anybody who knows him. But once again, when it comes to Floyd, it's like talking to an R. Kelly fan when he peed on that little girl. And you're saying, wait, that's R. Kelly on that video. And they're like, no, it's not R. Kelly. That's clearly not that's R. Kelly. Floyd can do anything. Floyd can shoot 10 people and have it clearly on video, and Carcino would come on here and say, you guys really think that's Floyd? But I can't listen to the Floyd dick riding. It's so ridiculous for a grown man. Floyd is an all-time great. True. Maybe even the best welterweight of this era. Maybe so. But no way he is the GOAT. Correct. He's not. His last fight he handpicked Berto was silly. His father even said before the fight his son should retire before taking a fight like that. True. He should have just retired before taking that fight. It was BS. True. So the Carcinos and Dante's Boxing Nation, I can't speak on that because I don't know who Dante's Boxing Nation is of the world. They're just Floyd fanboys, period. I like Floyd. He's good, but GOAT, come on. Yeah, true. He's not the GOAT. Anybody with half a brain and any type of intelligence on boxing knowledge knows that Floyd's not the GOAT. It's a non-starter. Anybody who brings it up, just stop the conversation. Let's see what else we got here. All right, here we're gonna get to David Peralta versus David Peralta shocking Robert Guerrero over the weekend. Guerrero should have never moved up to welterweight. Joe said it's true. Says here, I don't think Guerrero moved up to welterweight because he just wanted to move up to welterweight. I think there comes a point in time when your body can't respond to losing that water weight late in training camps, and eventually you're going to have to move up. Robert Guerrero is not the same guy at 147 that he was at 130, 135. Nobody's going to argue against that. However, as Bernardo Brito brings up, then he would have never gotten 5 $1 million purses. Probably so. Probably true. If he would have continued to been able to make 135 and fight in the lower weight classes, then he probably wins more fights. There's no question about that. But even with that, would he have been able to get these bigger names in the ring at 147 that he got at 147? Probably not. Make this money. I mean, Berto $1 million, Mayweather $3 million, Kamagai $1 million, Garcia $1.2 million, Thurman $1.225 million, and Peralta, he just made $500,000 against Peralta. And for the life of me, I don't see how that was a $530,000 fight because Peralta got $30,000. And by the way, I didn't know Peralta was literally a cab driver. Peralta said after the fight, I'm just a cab driver and I just beat Robert Guerrero. This guy was out on his luck and was literally, we always joke about guys fighting cab drivers, and you literally had a cab driver fight on the main event of a PBC card, and he beat Robert Guerrero. So props to him. And he looked like a solid fighter. So I wouldn't mind seeing a rematch, to be honest. I thought it was an entertaining fight, which tells you where Robert Guerrero's at this point in his career. He's just I wouldn't even say well past his prime, because as I was saying during the post-fight video, Peralta just might be a better fighter than Guerrero at this point. That might be where we're at. And those guys who nobody know, that you don't see footage on, and they come up and fight in the States for the first time, they can be dangerous. They can be dangerous. Minimax Boxing says, let's see Peralta versus Vargas. Obviously, Vargas has bigger food on his plate. He's got Pacquiao in November. So I don't know if Vargas loses to, when Vargas loses to Pacquiao. I don't know if that's what people want to see. I'm not sure, but I'm sure there'll be other fighters out there before Vargas' name gets mentioned, but we'll see. The Carter J says Guerrero's activity in the fight was pure shit. He needs a new trainer, maybe a Joel Diaz or even a Virgil Hunter. On paper, theoretically, I mean, that sounds nice, but the problem is his dad is his trainer. He's not going to leave his dad. The other problem is, once a fighter gets to a certain point in his career, he is who he is. It doesn't matter who they bring in. I've seen fighters do this. We've seen fighters do this all the time, where they lose a fight and then all of a sudden they bring in a new trainer, and it makes for good publicity. Oh, the chemistry with this new trainer, will it be good? He can do a lot of things. His style would mesh better with this trainer, blah, blah, blah. And then he gets in the ring, and once he gets in trouble, he just reverts back to what he was before, because you can't, they say it's a cliche, but it's hard to teach old dogs new tricks. And once a guy gets to a certain point in his career, especially a Guerrero, who is in his 30s now, and he's been through multiple wars and tough fights, it's going to be tough to retrain that guy or show that guy new techniques and add on to what he knows and turn him into a different stylistic fighter. I just don't see that happening. He is who he is at this point. Big Band TV, what's shocking about this? Robert's been washed up and shot. That's debatable. Has he been washed up and shot, or has he just not been a good fighter at 147, period? I don't know. I don't think he overlooked Peralta. He just doesn't have the wheels anymore. He needs to retire. Once again, it's a plausible opinion there. Maybe he doesn't have the wheels anymore. I don't think he overlooked Peralta either. I just think I don't understand for the life of me, for the people who watched this fight, he just fell in love with that counter left hand. Peralta was having success all of a sudden in the third round with that straight right that he was throwing behind the left hand, behind the jab. And then Guerrero fell in love with that counter left. He was landing it beautifully in those like third, fourth, fifth rounds. Even though Peralta was having a lot of success with that right hand. But when he's loading up on that left hand, first of all, Peralta was catching it well, was taking it well. Then he started to adjust when he threw his right hand and move his head to the side a little bit so it wasn't catching him flush. And then he's doubling and tripling the jab and then throwing the right hand behind it. So that's 3 or 4 shots he's landing before Guerrero finally throws that counter left. And then that's all he's throwing. He's not throwing anything behind it. And instead of Guerrero doing what he does best, when Guerrero's at his best, he's yucking up the fight, walking you down, clinching with that right hand and keeping the left hand free. And then when you're on the ropes, he lets his hands go and throws 1 or 2 punches at a time and lands, and then rinse and repeat. That's when Guerrero's at his best. But instead, he fought off of his back foot and started trying to load up on that left hand, which made no sense to me. He basically gave it away. So that's pretty much all I got to say on that fight. Guerrero just bad strategy, lost the fight. Maybe Peralta's just a better fighter. I don't know. Let's see what else we got here. I did a video last night on Carl Froch saying that he'd be willing to come out of retirement for Gennady Golovkin only, and he'd have to fight him at 172. I didn't know that fight was that interview was actually 8 months ago, and Tim Loeffler put that on his Twitter last night. So that's the only reason I thought it was a recent video. But one of these guys in the comment section, Marcus R, brought up, "Are you talking about an old video with Frock and Loeffler?" I think that was like 6 months ago, wasn't it? Yeah, and it was. So my apologies for that, but I still think with the war of words going on between Froch and Golovkin, there's still a window there. There's still a window there. I would not completely shut the door on Carl Froch coming back, especially if Golovkin is having trouble getting fights, waiting for Canelo, and money talks. Money talks. So we'll see. Hopefully something like that happens. I would love to see Triple G versus Froch in the UK. That would be incredible. A lot of comments on that video, by the way, and I'm not going to go through all of them. But Sean Newton left a comment. Dream Chasers talked about people leaving a division to avoid GGG. Froch 172, Ward 175, Canelo 154, and Cotto 154. In response to that video. Once again, I have to check out Dream Chasers' channel. I don't know much about him, but that's a good point. People just find ways to avoid Triple G. Froch moving to 172 or wanting to fight at 172 is a good example. I don't think 4 pounds would make that much of a difference. I think that's a convenient excuse. Him not being active and not being able to 168, I think that was a convenient excuse. Canelo going to 154. And Liam Smith, I talked about that in the last podcast. Liam Smith actually brought it up. He said, I knew I was going to get the fight at 154 because Canelo had to come back down to 154 because that was his only way of sort of saving face for not fighting Triple G. He couldn't continue to fight at 155 to 160 and not fight Triple G. So he had to make the convenient excuse that, hey, I want to fight for a title at 154. So he knew he was going to get the shot against Canelo because of that. So obviously Canelo fighting at 154 is a clear duck of Triple G. Cotto at 154, I'm not sure. Maybe he's talking about Cotto going down to 154 now after he was fighting at middleweight and lost the title. Maybe so. As far as Andre Ward at 175, I don't know. I don't know if that was Andre Ward just not able to make 168 anymore, because it's kind of hard to make the argument that Ward moved up to 175 to avoid Triple G when he's about to fight Kovalev. Kovalev, also a dangerous guy who was actually bigger than Triple G. So I actually see Kovalev having more advantages against Andre Ward than Triple G does. So it's kind of hard to make that argument. So maybe that would be my only problem with that, but still very good theory there. Now, once again, before we get to other news, last comments, and this looks bad. 4 straight comments. This is to the Andre Ward lacks power video that I dropped. And once again, I just dropped a video that Andre Ward lacks power. Clearly, 50% KO percentage at 168. He's moving up to 175 to fight Kovalev. He's been at 175 for 2 fights now, but he fought 2 tune-ups, and I think one of the guys he fought was a 168-pound fighter. So basically, he essentially has a 50% KO percentage at 168. Now he's going to fight the top guy at 175, who has a very good chin. So I'm basically saying Andre Ward is going to lack the power to keep Kovalev honest. And I think that's a big problem in this fight for Andre Ward to look at. And that's basically all I said. So here's the comment. Here they come. What the hell are you talking about? LOL. Kovalev, God, man. Ward beat everyone you put in front of him. Barrero was 175-pound fighter. Ward beat Lotta fighter with power, man. Quit hating. Here comes the hating again. Kovalev is just a man like Ward. Can't wait until they fight so Ward can show people that Kovalev is not God. LOL. I didn't say Kovalev is God. The only God is man that walked the earth is this guy right here, Jesus Christ. I didn't call Kovalev God. Did not do it. Hawk ass. I don't even know what that means. I told you before, if anyone gets knocked down, it will be Kovalev. LOL. The least likely scenario here is Kovalev getting knocked down in this fight. That's like the least likely scenario. Can't wait until Ward shuts people's mouth. Who the F is Kovalev anyway? He's he's currently the top fighter at 175. He not God. I didn't say he's God, so he can't beat. I don't even know what that means. He can be beat. I know he can be beat. It's a toss-up fight. I just give the edge to Kovalev. That's all I'm saying. I can't effing wait until Ward beat the shit out of Kovalev. Kovalev beat an old man, B-Hop, 49, 50 years old. That's actually a plausible argument there, maybe. That yeah. I mean, he beat an old man and B-Hop. B-Hop was still a very good fighter, but yeah, he beat an old man. But Ward is 32 years old, have way better boxing. At this point in his career, yes, he's a better boxer than Bernard Hopkins at this point in his career. I'll give you that. Like Floyd, Ward is God-gifted. Who is not God-gifted? I don't even know what that means. What is the point there? Kovalev just hit hard. But you can't hit, you can't win. I don't know what that means. You can't hit, you can't win. I don't know what that means, but Kovalev just hit hard. Kovalev does a lot more than just hit hard. Kovalev is a versatile power puncher. He can fight going backwards. He can fight going forwards. He has lateral movement, can cut off the ring. He can punch off of his back foot. He has power even when he's not set. He has good footwork, so he can get set even when guys are moving laterally. There's a difference. Like, a lot of guys have power who can't set up their power. A lot of guys have power when they face a certain style. Like Kelly Pavlik was like that. Kelly Pavlik had to be set, and he had to throw the right hand behind the jab. All right, he was a very robotic fighter, but his feet had to be set to throw his power punches. And you saw it in the Bernard Hopkins fight. He could not get set, and he had problems setting up his power punches. He hits like a mule, but he had problems setting that up because of Hopkins' movement and counter punching. He just had problems with it, and Hopkins just completely threw him off. Kovalev is not that guy. Kovalev is much more athletic and I'll say not as robotic. I mean, he's more of a free fighter. Last one. LOL, if you're going to tell something, tell it all, man. B-Hop was old, bitch, 50 years. Tell the fact. Ward is 32 years old, big different, LOL. So tell the whole. You're trying to make Ward look bad. You're racist, man. Here we go with the racist again. I'm racist again. Somebody better tell my non-white wife that I'm racist. Kovalev is going to lose, and I bet you, man, anything Ward wins, UD over Kovalev. I mean, that's actually, once again, plausible. If you would just say something like that, it would be okay. Okay. I bet you, man, anything Ward wins, UD over Kovalev. Ward can definitely win UD over Kovalev. No issue with you saying that, but the other stuff, and Kovalev will not get a good shot on Ward. Now that's crazy. Kovalev will get some good shots on Ward. So, I don't know. Shout out to the commenters. Good job, guys, except for the ones who called me racist. But I even love y'all, man. Y'all are funny too, and y'all are cool. So keep them coming, even those. Keep them coming, because it gives us some good comedy relief during these videos. Now, Kovalev versus Ward being signed. You know, that's great stuff. Great for boxing. I was just dropping these videos about it not being signed, giving the update every Tuesday, because I was frustrated with it, because this is a fight that I want casuals to see. This is a fight that I want as many people to see as possible, because this is what boxing should be. Top fighters fighting each other. And my frustration was they're not promoting this thing well. They're just not. The buildup for this fight has been terrible. It's been terrible. They've been knowing about this fight, both sides, for over a year. HBO has been knowing about this for over a year, that this is going to take place. And instead of building this up well, they have Ward fighting guys who they don't even make sense being in the ring with him. 2 tune-ups, and then Kovalev fights his tune-ups, and it's just been a lackluster marketing campaign. It's been a lackluster build-up. And hopefully with only, 10, 11 weeks left until this fight happens, only a couple of weeks before these guys start training camp, if they're not in training camp already, they've got to get this build-up going because people need to see this fight. So that's all I'm going to say on that, but great fight, great news. I'll be doing a lot of roundtables on here with other guys, other channels, getting their views and thoughts on the fights and their predictions on the fights, because this is the type of fight, the old school type of fight, where you get your boys around and it's going to be 50-50. Some will pick Ward, some will pick Kovalev, and you'll have good arguments on both sides. So I think we'll get a lot of good viewpoints on the channel as far as that goes with other guys. Wanted a quick hit on this article real quick. Peter Fury, trainer of Tyson Fury, says Kell Brook is in a win-win position against Gennady Golovkin. And I agree, and I'll touch on that in a minute. But first, let's get his pull quotes from this article. He was quoted as saying, "I just think that it's a fight that needed to be taken. I wouldn't say that it's a similar fight, but it's a similar situation like you had with Canelo. Nothing to lose. Kell Brook has absolutely nothing to lose and a nice payday and everything to win. It's a win-win situation, and it was a win-win for Khan." Let me get a sip of water real quick. We're being sponsored by Kentwood Water, by the way, Kentwood Springs. Now, and this was quoted Bayloric TV boxing channel. I guess it's a channel here on YTBC, so shout out to him for getting the interview. But now, where there's gray area here is, and he's right, as far as styles, it's not really the same. So it's kind of the same, but not really. But I don't know necessarily, and I thought this coming into the Khan-Canelo fight, that this is a win-win situation for Khan, but was it really? If you see people reacting to Khan right now, and how people have reacted to him after this Canelo fight, I know he made a lot of money for the fight, a nice payday for him, and got the exposure, but I think we're in a position in boxing right now where there are a lot of people on YTBC and maybe even that run blogs who don't really know what they're looking at, and thought that maybe Canelo versus Khan and Khan getting knocked out by Canelo was, or maybe they thought Canelo versus Khan was more of an even fight than it was, and they didn't give Khan the props for taking the huge leap for that Canelo fight, and therefore they see him getting knocked out as just him getting knocked out, instead of Khan taking a huge leap and taking a huge shot. I just think we're in a point in boxing right now where the low risk, high reward route is being rewarded more than guys taking chances. And a guy who takes a chance and gets knocked out is ridiculed, whereas a guy who fights somebody and is a 50-1 favorite gets praised. I think that's where we're at. So I think when we look at Canelo versus Khan and the result, I don't know if Khan was in a win-win situation. I don't know if Khan ultimately won for fighting Canelo and taking that chance. I think we're in that point in boxing now where guys, if they take a chance, they have to know that even in taking that chance, they're not going to be rewarded if they get knocked out. I just think that's where we're at. And I hate to say that, but reality is, I'm not into denying reality. Reality is reality. And you have a lot of guys, and it's sad to see boxing fans this way, because to me, they're selling out to their values, because as boxing fans, we should be demanding and wanting the best fights. And the only way to do that is to demand these guys take risks. And instead, we're ranking guys higher in our rankings who are undefeated and taking easier fights than we are the Sean Porters of the world, who are taking the tougher fights. And they may lose to Kell Brook, they may lose to Keith Thurman, but they took the fights. And I'd rather rank him higher than a guy who is undefeated and didn't take, like a Danny Garcia, who is undefeated, even though he may have lost 2 fights. But he's taking easier fights as of late. That's just where I'm at with it. And when I see that, I kind of cringe. But when I see a comment like this, I say, I don't know if Khan was in a win-win situation. I don't know if Khan ultimately won by fighting Canelo. I don't know if he came out higher on people's rankings, or are people observe of him in a higher manner. I don't know. I don't know if we came out that way. So I don't know if Kell Brook's going to get the same treatment if he gets knocked out by Triple G. I don't know if people ultimately will say, oh, at least Kell Brook took the risk there. I will. Kell Brook, to me, this is a savage power move. This is a alpha male move, and this is the move that should be rewarded. Kell Brook, no matter what weight class he ends up in after this fight, should be ranked very high for taking this. At least somebody is going to take on the savage Triple G. Kell Brook didn't have to, but he said, nobody else wants to fight him. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. So props to Kell Brook for that. And guys like Canelo should be called out right now for openly ducking Triple G and then making excuses for it at the same time. Peter Fury goes on, they're expected to lose. They are getting nice paydays, and there's always a chance of an upset. I had Khan clearly outboxing Canelo. I don't know how the judges had it the other way. He came around to his left, and this is what I mean about quality operators. He made one mistake, and he paid. That's why these guys are where they are. I disagree with some of that. I don't think he was clearly outboxing Canelo. I think Canelo started to walk him down and cut him off a little easier and won those last 2 rounds and knocked him out. So, but ultimately what he's trying to say is these guys are getting nice paydays for taking these risks, and there's a chance of an upset, small chance, but they should get rewarded for taking these risks. They should. Golovkin had dynamite in his hands. When Golovkin sees power and danger in front of him, he becomes a very slick, calculated operator, clever mover, boxer, It's going to take a very special talent to get Golovkin out of there, Peter Fury says. So he's basically making his prediction there and saying he doesn't see it happening, but at least he's giving credit to guys like Kell Brook and Amir Khan for taking these risks. And they should be credited, man. They should be credited more than they are. And it's sad to see guys who are just not ambitious and not wanting to be the best and just getting rewarded. And I don't like that. So props to Canelo, props to Khan for taking on these risks. Let me see what else I got here. Anything else in these articles? Oh, here's another one I wanted to touch on right quick before I wrap things up and give quick shout outs. Paulie Malignaggi saying, I wouldn't mind fighting David Peralta. Is this me, or does it seem like Paulie Malignaggi's been fighting for 20 years now? Malignaggi just keeps, and he's one of those fighters, man. He doesn't have power, but he has a name at the same time. So he's a fighter who's going to keep getting recycled, sort of like the Gabe Rosados of the world. He's just going to keep getting recycled and keep getting recycled into these big fights. Not even big fights, guys coming up like Peralta who are coming off of a big win, and you want to sort of segue him into, if you want to sort of segue him into an elite, fighting elite fighters, Malignaggi's sort of that stepping stone fighter where, all right, Malignaggi's not going to hurt Peralta, and he's going to give him a name, and he'll probably beat Malignaggi if he's decent. So Malignaggi, watch him get this fight. Watch him get this fight. Malignaggi stated, nice win for Peralta. I wouldn't mind a shot at him next. He's good, but doesn't fight the fastest of paces, tactical, but a little slow. No, maybe so. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. I'd rather see Peralta versus Guerrero rematch than Peralta versus Malignaggi. I think the Malignaggi thing has run its course. I think I speak for 95% of the boxing world out there when I say that I'm tired of Malignaggi. It's just time. It's just time, man. Move on. Nice career, though. Malignaggi is one of those guys who maximized his potential. No power, absolutely none, but the nice up jab, nice foot movement. And then when he moved up in weight and when his legs started to go away, he really had nothing left. So, but at least props to him for maximizing his potential. Before I go, shout out to everybody in the YTBC doing good things, and I hope to collab with. I'm going to reach out to some of you guys tonight in messages to hopefully collab with some of you guys on this podcast and some prediction videos. Instead of doing the prediction videos on my own, I wanted to get some roundtables going and previews in that manner. So hopefully some people will respond to that and we'll get on here and chop it up. So props to you guys. And once again, the big news of the weekend to me, not only Guerrero getting upset and Alfredo Angulo in a slight upset. I think that was a slight upset against Freddie Hernandez. The other big news is Sergey Kovalev versus Andre Ward getting signed. Very good fight for boxing. So props to those two guys once again. And also the prediction videos will be coming soon, whether it be myself or other people included for Kell Brook versus Triple G and for Sergio Mora versus Danny Jacobs rematch that the whole world is awaiting according to the PBC. But I think it's an interesting fight to at least talk about, even though it's not going to be very entertaining. You wouldn't think. The first fight was somewhat entertaining in the first two. As short as the fight was, it was kind of entertaining, shockingly, but you know, we'll see. I expect more of a tactical matchup this time, and more prediction videos to come as well on top of those. So peace out to y'all. Leave those comments. I'll get back to them on the next podcast tomorrow night. There'll be 4 podcasts, possibly 5. I'll be out of town for the Labor Day weekend, possibly 5 this week, but definitely 4. So I'll get back to more of those comments. So leave those comments in the comment section, and I'll get back to them. And leave messages if you want to talk. If you want me to talk about a specific issue or a specific topic in boxing. Good night to y'all.